rates going up. This is after China decided to stop taking recycling, and the council suddenly had a problem with all this extra rubbish. However, report today in the Herald Sun that the state government's landfill levy has got in it $500 million. $500 million is sitting there. Now, why can't that be used? Why are you paying a levy while they're sitting on $500 million? How does it work? It doesn't make sense to me. Have your rates gone up? Are you paying a levy? Anything else you'd like as well? 96900 693 13 13 32 on the line from Monash Council. And they've brought in a new charge. Councillor Theo Zographos, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. Good to be with you.
Thanks. How much is your charge?
$22 per household in the city of Monash.
Per year?
Yeah, that's a completely new charge. It wasn't forecast in any previous financial years. We actually consulted with our community in January, and they overwhelmingly told us they were against introducing a waste charge. However, due to the so-called crisis in the sector overseas, we backflipped on that a few months later.
So, tell me about this levy that's going into the state government. What's that about? I mean, they're sitting on $500 million.
Yeah, so
well,
look,
more than that.
It's ballooned out to about $500 million. It was about $30 million about 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's not being used at all. It is being used somewhat, but it has the potential to be far more efficient in the way that waste charges and services are given to Victorians year on year.
What are they going to spend the $500 million on while we're all out there paying more to you or to the councils?
Yeah. Well, for example, in Monash, we had a shortfall of $1.5 million in this financial year. That could have been something that that sustainability fund could have plugged the gap. So
but it didn't. It didn't.
Well, obviously it didn't. And moving forward, if the government wants to have a rate cap on councils, it needs to have a rate cap that actually does what it's supposed to do, not allows councils to introduce new charges without consultation. So there's all sorts of issues here in local government sector. That $500 million, that's about $6 million per Victorian council out of 79 councils. So I think that Victorians are overgoverned, and they are rightly asking why this amount of money is an enormous pot of gold that is just sitting there strengthening Daniel Andrews' bottom line when local communities are suffering.
Well, that's the point. It's all the $500 million sitting there doing nothing, while the average person is paying at least an extra $22 in your case, more in others, a year for the levy, for the landfill issues.
That's correct, and they've already paid that $500 million. So there's no need to charge them an extra $22 million per household.
Are you getting a cranky response to it?
We have had a number of responses. As I said, we consulted 7 or so months ago, and we had literally about 75% of thousands of respondents who were against this waste charge. We had other options. We could have probably absorbed this cost with some impact on other services.
Okay.
But the easy way out was the waste charge. I have to admit, it was an easy way out. It was a simple stroke of a pen. When really the government could have come to the table and put forward a plan moving forward.
Yeah, but it's easy for you. It's not easy for people.
No, I agree.
I'm interested you say that you think we're overgoverned. I agree, but my answer to that's to get rid of councils. What's yours?
I would agree with you. I agree, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, we should sit down with all levels of government and map out a way forward in Australia and how we're governed. That was started a few years ago. It didn't go anywhere. It started in Canberra. But I agree. I mean, councils exist. Until they don't exist, they have a role to play.
Okay.
But absolutely, I mean, if you were to start again, I think there are better ways to have Australia moving forward with how it's governed.
Good on you. I'm glad to hear the council agree with you. Thank you. From Monash, Councillor Theo Zographos. Okay. Well,